Hey, I'm Richie. Welcome to the Bigger Property, Bigger Profit video course. In this video, I'm going to be explaining why you should be doing bigger property deals. Let's start by comparing a single let and a block of flats, both of which I own. First, you can see the purchase price for both properties and the total debt, just shy of 90,000 for the single let and almost 1.5 million on the block of flats. And if you look at the bottom, you can see the equity gain, £25,000 on the single let and 950,000 on the block of flats. The total debt to buy the block of 16 flats is 16 times bigger than the single let, but the equity gain is 38 times bigger. This means you'd have to buy 38 single lets to get the same equity gain as you do on that block of flats. That's 38 mortgage applications, 38 conveyancing, 38 valuations and 38 refurbs, and that's after you found 38 properties where your offer is accepted. How many viewings would you have to do to find 38 deals, properties that stack up and where your offers are accepted? That's not to mention how much more debt efficient we're being with a bigger purchase. For the single let, for every pound of debt raised, it's creating 28 pence of equity. On the block of flats, it's 64 pence for every pound of debt that's taken on. That's double the amount of equity for every pound spent on debt. So it's much more efficient to do a bigger deal than it is to do a single let. Why is this? Larger assets can be revalued at commercial rates. They're driven by rental income rather than comparable to sales, meaning refurbishments and rent increases have a much larger impact on the valuation. If you look at these figures here, you can see that my single let, it was an exemplary one. It was a really good one because I got some money out of it. But it's typical to leave money into BRR single lets when you're doing those kind of deals. And the net cash flow on this, because I took out so much, is quite low. But you should expect a little bit more than that in cash flow on a typical single let. But for this one, I'm getting £1,000 a year. If you compare that to the block of flats, I took out all the money put into it, all the debt, plus £345,000, and it's given me positive cash flow of £18,000 each year. The total profit is 16 times greater on the block of flats when you compare that to the single let. So again, it's buying 16 single lets to get the same cash flow that you would get from just buying one block of 16 flats. So for one purchase, you're getting the 16 times rental profit each month compared to buying 16 single lets, which are often going to be in different locations as well. So let's say your goal was rental income. Would it take you longer to buy a block of 16 flats or 16 single lets to achieve this kind of cash flow? Buying 16 flats in one transaction gives you one purchase negotiation, one set of legal and conveyancing fees, one mortgage application process to go through, one refurb or upgrade to the project instead of doing 16 or 18 refurbs. This means the return on time invested is far, far higher. For example, how many viewings would it take to find 16 single let BRR deals? Quite a few. Similar situation when comparing a 6-bed HMO and a 48-bed HMO, both of which I own as well. You can see the purchase prices here. The total debt on the 6-bed is just shy of 500,000 and the total debt on the 48-bed is just shy of 2 million. The equity gain on the 6-bed was 56,500 and the equity gain on the 48-bed was just over £1 million. The total debt to buy the 48-bed HMO is 4 times bigger than the 6-bed HMO, but the equity gain is 19 times bigger. For most landlords, within their 5-year plan, it's very possible and very feasible to target buying 4 6-bed HMOs in that 5-year plan. Why not put those funds together and go big, do a bigger purchase straight away? Could you do 19 6-bed BRR HMOs quicker than one existing 48-bed HMO? And the 48-bed didn't need planning because it was an existing licensed HMO already. Let's look at the debt efficiency. The 6-bed HMO was 11 pence of equity created for every pound of debt taken on. For the 48-bed, it was 56 pence for every pound taken on. So it's 5 times greater the equity created on doing a bigger HMO compared to a normal 6-bed HMO. If we look at the funds left in, 80 grand left in on the 6-bed HMO. It's very typical for 30 to 100k to be left into 6-bed HMOs when you're doing the BRR strategy, but it gives you £17,000 a year cash flow, which is not bad. That's a reasonable return for a 6-bed HMO. If you look at the 48-bed, it gives you £322,000 profit out after you've cleared all of your debts and it's also giving you £125,000 a year income. So the rental profit is 7 times greater as well. Could you do 7 6-bed BRR HMOs quicker than one existing 48-bed HMO? I've not seen a deal that does that. I've not seen 6 HMOs that are able to do that and get them that quickly. So we've talked about equity gain, rental profit, debt efficiency and time efficiency, but here are a few more benefits to doing bigger deals. Firstly, the sourcing process for bigger deals is simpler. The competition is much lower, so I just get big deals from Rightmove, as most investors never even look at them because they think they're too big and out of their reach. If you compare this to the BRR HMO or BRR single let, where many investors now need to do big letter campaigns or Facebook adverts, spending thousands of pounds on marketing just to find good deals because there's so much competition out there and they're getting snapped up so quickly. Nowadays I'm seeing people in their early 20s doing BRR HMOs. There are too many newbies coming off property courses where the strategies are being pushed on them: rent-to-rent, single lets, deal sourcing, BRR HMOs. That market is completely saturated. It's very busy, very noisy. So upscaling, elevating your investing to bigger deals creates a moat around your business. This is why it's important to move fast when good opportunities present themselves, before the market becomes too saturated and the opportunity becomes too diluted with more competition coming into the space. Secondly, economies of scale. Owning a block of flats or a large HMO creates huge economies of scale compared to holding numerous single lets and HMOs. You only pay for one roof, one set of walls, one building insurance policy, and one managing agent, with maintenance, cleaning and repairs shared across all the units. Bulk arrangements mean you can negotiate better rates for utilities, service contracts and trades, while having all units in one location leaves significant time on inspections, repairs and tenant management. Plus, vacancy risks is spread. One empty flat or 1 or 2 rooms in your HMO, in your small 6-bed HMO, that just kills all the profit and takes out your income. Whereas if you go in for a big properties, they're far more stable because you can have those voids and it's covered by the rest of it because the margins are so much more healthy and they're bigger. Bigger deals also make it easier to attract investor finance, and you can pay that investor finance back when you do the refinance without needing to own a cash flowing business or do flips on the side, due to BRR strategies often leaving cash in deals. Most single let BRRs trap in 10 to 30k, and most BRR HMOs trap 20 to 100k in. How do you pay your investors back without selling the property? Which, that's not the point of doing this. Doing this create cash flow and assets that we own for the long term. Many investors have to scramble and do flips or rent-to-rent deal sourcing or another business to pay back their investors, and you don't need to do that with bigger deals. With these 2 examples I've shown you, I've taken out an extra £667,000 in profit after paying back all investors and their interest. I can use this to fund further deals. With big deals, profit margins are much thicker and commercial valuations are possible, pulling all your money out. Profit on top. It's a lot more normal, therefore you can pay back your investors in full and still have the extra cash to grow your portfolio even faster. Because of the much thicker profit margins, the deals are actually a lot safer to do and less risky, and you have much more wiggle room should things go wrong. If you found this video useful, please book a free strategy call with me using the calendar link at the bottom of this page. On our call we can discuss your situation and I can show you a roadmap to help you work towards landing your first big deal. Thank you for watching.